at 50. Carolina territory, jumps going to town. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! I think, yeah! Gummy time, baby! It's a sack, fakes, runs to the near sideline, still looking, throws it into the end zone, and touchdown! Touchdown, A.J. Green, back right corner of the end zone!
Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Dogs need that kind of toughness in every game in this league.
Your emotions are as sky high as they ever will be.
It's not just another game.
And he's a big play kind of guy.
A terrific day of football ahead.
And the fans are ready for it.
Take out your Richter scales because Georgia is going to run out of the tunnel.
On the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. Welcome to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show. The Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show is brought to you by Kroger. Enjoy free delivery with Boost by Kroger Plus. Proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Georgia's own credit union. Banking on purpose. By Georgia Farm Bureau, always the home team. And by Merriweather and Tharp, the Atlanta divorce team. Now to the Scana Energy Stage. Here's Neil Hondo Williamson.
A field goal from the 22, and the Dogs block it. The ball is rolling dead at the 4-yard line. The Dogs block the 32-yard field goal try. Georgia's picked it up. They haven't blown a whistle. Georgia's going to run down the end zone. Christopher Smith has picked up the ball and has run the length of the field for a touchdown.
Greetings from the college football capital of the world, Atlanta, GA, where 4 weeks ago in this same Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Christopher Smith's 95-yard TD return led the Dogs past LSU for the SEC title. And where tonight, two of college football's great legacy football programs, number 1 Georgia and 4th-ranked Ohio State, face off in the college football playoff semifinal. Hello, Bulldog Nation. Georgia is 13-0 for the first time in program history. Beat 11-1 Ohio State today, and the Dogs can book passage to next Monday's title game in Los Angeles. Joining me for our Bulldogs Tailgate Show, it's the usual crew from our Scana broadcast booth. It's the voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, all things Georgia, polymath Lauren Smith, 2005 SEC Championship MVP DJ Shockley, and the only quarterback in UGA history to beat Ohio State, in fact, the only one to ever play them, Eric Zier. Hello, men. I pray you all had satisfying Christmases.
Yes. Excellent.
Very satisfying.
Indeed we did. Santa was good to the kids, and it was an awful lot of fun watching them walk down the steps and see all the goodies. So it was a lot of blessings going around for sure.
Very good. Shock, you have a little one too, and you have a great time.
I got two of them. They definitely. That's why I'm here working today, because they deep in my pockets. So, yeah.
Well, very
that
good.
Goes on too.
Glad it was wonderful. Lauren, did you get to see the grandkids?
Oh, yes.
Wonderful.
I've got empty pockets.
Oh, yeah. Very good. All right. Well, we are only 418 minutes away from the end of 2022 as we prepare to cap off this exceptional campaign with a doozy of a matchup here at the Chick-fil-A Bowl. It's number 1 UGA versus the 4th-ranked Buckeyes, as we mentioned. We're back in the college football playoff to defend our national title. A rare showdown matching two of the greatest programs in college football history, and both teams coming off disappointing defensive showings. Georgia in the victory over LSU, the Buckeyes a week previous in their only loss of the season at the hands of arch rival Michigan. Where would you like to start with all that, Scott Howard?
Well, you kind of covered it all. It's a great place to start, I guess, that we're back in the playoffs again. And just how difficult that is to accomplish. Back-to-back unbeaten regular seasons, and then we tack on an SEC title this year to go 13-0, as you pointed out. I mean, the way Georgia has performed this season, I think is probably a little out of reach of maybe what most folks expected. I don't know that anybody, I've never had anybody come up to me anyway and say, I expect us to go unbeaten and win the national championship. Now, everybody wanted to talk about, let's do a repeat. Let's do it again. Let's do it again, because that's just kind of naturally what you do. But to actually go through that and it becomes a realistic possibility, that's kind of a different type of experience. But here we are, Final Four, Georgia and Ohio State, and the winner gets a chance to play for the title again. So it's been a magnificent year for Georgia, and 2 more games, and we'll see where they go.
Now, Scott, Hondo always says that it reminds everybody that we are in the good old days right now. The run that this Georgia team is on right now, and really we've been on for a while. It's rarefied air. There are few programs in the country that ever get to taste what the Dog Nation has been able to taste, and to look at this matchup here tonight, the marquee matchup of the day, maybe the marquee matchup of the entire year, with these 2 juggernauts going after it. There's matchup problems for both teams across the board. It is going to be an all-out war beginning at 8 o'clock tonight. There's going to be NFL players littered across the field. This is one of the primetime matchups that you only dream about. It's why you come to Georgia. It's why you go to places like Ohio State. But these are going to be 2 heavyweights slugging it out tonight. And there's been a lot of talk coming into this game. It is time to lace it up and let toe meet leather and start punching people in the face, because we're ready to get this one on.
That might be a penalty, though.
It might be a penalty. That's okay. Get it out of the way early.
Well, coaches talk in the same vernacular as fans, and folks like us, they say the simple things. No turnovers and no explosive plays. Now, if you can pull that off, you're going to be in good shape. I expect it to be a 4-quarter game, and I think it's who can grind it the hardest, the longest. If the Georgia team can play as well as they have played in this situation, then I'll feel pretty good when we get to the 4th quarter. Georgia has been able to do that. They've been able to grind and go toe-to-toe with everybody and outlast them in terms of physicality. And I just hope it's that same kind of game again tonight.
I think if we think about how both teams got here, obviously talk about the big win we had here. Obviously, the last time Ohio State was on the field, the big loss to Michigan. You think about what transpired in the ball game, and when you think about how to get this game, into a similar fashion, you talk about some of the things that happened for us in that ball game. Gave up some tons of yards, gave up some big plays on the defensive side of the ball. But I think coming into this ball game, I think the one thing that sticks out is they were all technique things. There were things that guys' eyes were in the wrong spot. They were using the wrong technique, or, guy didn't get on top of another guy, didn't know where his help was, whatever it may be. I think those were all teachable moments for the last 4 weeks for our guys. So it's not like you went out there and just got beat man on man and, hey, they were just better than us. Now you got the chance to come into this ball game knowing that you can correct those kind of things that happen in the ball game and not let them happen here in this ball game versus Michigan. And Michigan has a lot to overcome from the demons that they had to go against Michigan. So we'll see if they have overcame that at all. But I know we worked hard for the last 4 weeks to kind of remedy those situations we had in that game.
Well, Shock, let's get particular on that. I'm glad you brought it up, because we did give up 502 passing yards to LSU. And I'd love to know what you and Z both think happened to our defense in the second half. You've had a chance to go back and look at the game. And what have we done to prevent a recurrence from unfolding today against the number 2 offense in the country?
I think for one, when you look at how that game played out, LSU was in a position where they were forced to throw the football. Nussmeier came in, and he was slinging it all over the yard, didn't really have much to lose by throwing it all over the place. And we, at some times didn't play our best style, which is, playing technique sound, being in the right spots, guys not helping each other on the back end. We saw Malachi take a bag angle on one deep throw. Those were things that you could look back on film and say, all right, if you take the right angle, you either knock it down or you intercept it. Those are things that you can fix coming to this ball game. And it's good that they were able to do this stuff in that ball game, late in the ball game, where it really didn't hurt you as much. So you come into this game knowing, okay, if I make those same mistakes, then they may hurt me even worse than a ball game like this. So I think coming out of that ball game, you probably feel a little bit better because it did happen, and you can teach and you can learn from it. And I know that's one thing Kirby probably harped on the last 4 weeks is those are all things that are definitely coachable. Those are things that we can absolutely get better at. And now we got another opportunity to show people that it won't happen a second time.
Yeah, and Shock, those are mistakes that we haven't seen this defense make in 2 years. Honestly, it was our worst defensive performance that we've had over the past couple of seasons, and they are, every one of them, absolutely correctable. It is. We got run past a couple of times. We're playing two deep zones where your deep safeties, they've got deep halves, never should get run by. There's bad angles. We're getting our eyes out of place a little bit and take a step up when we should be getting depth. We have been beat a couple of times this year, and we got beat a couple of times against LSU where we are locked in on man, and we're having a hard time locating the football, losing those 50-50 balls. We've got to get that corrected again today. But if you're Ohio State, there's no question Ohio State is looking at that game and saying this is what we can go do too. Ohio State, they are as dynamic an offense as you're going to see all year long, but they're not great at running back. Their leading rusher, their main guy in the backfield, an injury to his foot that ended his season. You start getting behind him in depth, they don't have a lot of guys that can go hurt you. So a situation for them, that's what they're going to be looking at. But Dogs, definitely time to get that cleaned up.
I want more from you on that Buckeyes offense in just a second, Z. I want to get over to Scott and Lauren. Rust versus rest. Any recalibrating Coach Smart and his staff have undertaken to correct defensive issues comes at the end of 4 long months of SEC on-field brutality. So, with a 4-week layover between games devoted to keeping the rust from settling versus making sure that the rejuvenating rest is afforded the players, how do you achieve that balance, Lauren? When do you crank it back up?
Well, it was business as usual with Kirby. From what I saw when I went to practice, he kept the metal to the pedal, and I think the intensity of his practices makes the difference. I believe he never takes anything for granted, like coaching them about returning the block kick, block field goal. That's just part of his routine. I mean, he has everything thought out, really planned. Since he came to Georgia, the Bulldogs have played like they practice, and that really shows. Naturally, I haven't had a close-up view of the other outstanding programs like everybody else, but the thing that has made a big difference is that Kirby is so on top of everything. I sort of compare him to Vince Lombardi. You start with talent, then you come with simplistic fundamentals, and you develop that mental edge. His mantra is hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work.
Organization is the key for this program, and it's headed up by Kirby. After the SEC championship, the team got a few days away for academic purposes. Final exams were coming on, and Georgia's coaching staff needed to focus on finishing up the recruiting cycle. Then we had an early signing day period since between games, and that was a focus. The team was already back to work at that point. They had about 15 practices between the end of the SEC championship and now. They had a little bit of a Christmas break. But their workouts have been, Kirby told me it was, they had a couple of days where they went back to camp type workouts. So they're not forgetting the fundamentals. They're certainly focused on the opponent as well. And then this past week, the workouts have been here in the stadium. Under some eyes maybe that the coaching staff doesn't necessarily want to be watching, although the practices were technically closed for the most part. But I think these coaches are paranoid enough to know that there may be somebody watching somewhere. There may be a camera somewhere, so they're not going to show a whole lot in these workouts here this past week in Atlanta. But I think that balance has been achieved by Georgia as far as rest and recovery and keeping, as Lauren pointed out, keeping the pedal down and knowing what your task is today and then hopefully next week.
All right. Thank you very much, man. I came to practice here, and I assure you that paranoia is real.
Yes, it is.
All right, Georgia in a bowl now for the 26th straight year. That is the nation's longest streak, and our streak will take you right up to kickoff at 8:10. We're here with our Bulldogs Tailgate Show. We have a fantastic program planned for you with our four guys here, Scott Howard, Eric Zier, DJ Shockley, and Lauren Smith. Our studio producer is Luke Nadkarni. Adam Gillespie, the road dog, engineers from the Benz, with assistance from Chris Schiavone. We'll be back in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Counting you down to kickoff.
Bowers breaking away midfield. Bowers will take it to the house all the way.
You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Ducks are ready to go on 1st and 10 from their 47-yard line. Nix with time, wants to go deep ball near sideline. Everybody turns around and looks at it, and it is intercepted, I think. Yeah, Georgia picked it off. Malachi Starks with his first, falling with his back onto the ground down inside the Dogs' 10 at the 8.
Yeah, the freshman Malachi enjoyed a rather auspicious debut here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium back in the season opener when the Dogs dominated Oregon 49-3. Scott Howard, Eric Zier, DJ Shockley, Lauren Smith, your old buddy Hondo on the radio. Number 1 Georgia preparing for 4th-ranked Ohio State. OSU is 2nd in the nation, averaging 44.5 points per game, 6th in yards per outing, 493 of those per contest. Led by C.J. Stroud, the Buckeyes are averaging better than 40 points a game for the 6th straight season. Shock, Z, please give us the skinny on the Buckeyes offense.
Well, I think you kind of talked about how explosive this offense is, and it all starts with Stroud. I mean, he's obviously the guy that gets it going for him, and he's, kind of played pretty well all season. But he's a guy that got a strong arm, has the talent. Obviously, he got a good run game. They've done a good job of being able to move the football through the air. They want to go vertical. They want to push you. They want to put a lot of pressure on your defense. And they're going to play with a little tempo in this game as well. But you talk about some receivers on the outside, Harrison Jr., Buka. I mean, all those guys are like next-level players. And it's going to be similar to what we saw in the SC Championship game. Some really good receivers that run really good routes. And obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. having a dad that played in the league for so long, how good he was. He comes in with the IQ. And then, Ryan Day is a guy who we know over the years has found ways to be really productive with his offenses. And they all have put up big numbers throughout the year. And obviously their last showing wasn't what they wanted it to be. And this is going to be a primetime matchup where they've had 4 weeks to draw up something. Mm-hmm. They watched the film. They know exactly what Georgia wants to do. They know the pressure things that Georgia brings, and they're going to try to find and exploit some matchups out there. But I think Georgia's defense has played to the standard of which everybody looks at all season long, and whenever there has been a challenge, they have stood up to it. So this is going to be a really tough challenge with the IQ of the quarterback, with the way he can move, the way he can throw it, the receivers on the outside, the back. So it's going to be fun to watch our defense go against this offense and see if we can slow them down.
Yeah, and you're right, Shock. It all starts with quarterback C.J. Stroud. He is the most complete passer that we have run into this year and maybe even going back a couple of years now. He's got great football IQ. If you bring pressure from different places, he's able to go pick it up, get the football into the soft spots against those blitzes. He's extremely accurate, completing 66% of his passes this year. 37 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. As Shock mentioned, he's got some great guys on the outside. Marvin Harrison, Egbuka, 66 receptions for Egbuka, 72 receptions for Harrison Jr., 12 touchdowns for Harrison Jr. He's got weapons all over the place. If there's one area, though, that this Ohio State team it has a weakness or a chink in the armor, it's in the running game. Mm-hmm. They lost their leading rusher to a season-ending foot injury. The guys that they've got coming in from are behind him, not nearly as talented, and it takes a little bit away. But behind Stroud, behind this receiving core, this is an offense that can go out and throw the football 50 times in a game, be one-dimensional, and they'd be okay. That's how good they are throwing the football. Imperative for the Dogs today that we're able to get into C.J. Stroud's face, cloud his vision by only rushing 4 guys so we can get back and give help where we need to in the secondary with these very talented receivers. We put pressure on Stroud. We force his tempo and his rhythm to get off just a little bit. It'll be a fun night for the Dogs.
All right, I mentioned briefly in our opening that the Buckeyes were gashed by Michigan 45-23. That was in the regular season finale. All week here in Atlanta, we've heard a couple of themes coming out of the Ohio State camp. One, they are really sick of rehashing the devastating loss to the Wolverines. And two, many in the Buckeye Nation feel that the team is playing with house money. Scott Howard, Lauren Smith, after losing to UM, it appeared Ohio State would not make the playoff, but Providence intervened, and here they are. They come in with a little chip on their shoulder, too.
Yeah, I think most teams admit to having that these days. Maybe they just talk themselves into it, but talk is cheap. We all know that, and you got to come out and do it on the field. And Ohio State hasn't been an underdog very much at all. Certainly not this season. They were favored over Michigan, I believe, in their own building, and they just gave up so many gash plays in the second half, and they were all scoring plays. I think Michigan was only in the red zone in that game one time, but they had 45 points in the game. So they were scoring from all over the field. Mm-hmm. And part of that reason was, according to what my conversations with Kirby Smart over the last few weeks have been, Ohio State had fallen behind, and they were trying to do some different things, and it was a high-risk, high-reward type of situation, and they paid the risk and gave up a lot of points. But Ohio State is we know they're a good team. We know they're a good team, and certainly they're miffed about losing to their arch rival, and they probably do feel kind of fortunate to be in this situation. But we'll see what they look like today. I don't buy into all the talk from anybody, believe it or not. You can talk your way into any kind of situation, but you have to execute. Once you're facing somebody else. They're facing Georgia today. We'll see how they actually execute and see if they can back up their talk.
Well, I think that we're going to hear from John Cooper, Ohio State's head coach, when Eric beat them in the Citrus Bowl.
Way to go, Eric. Go, buddy. Easy.
Gosh, I can't talk with this cheerleading going on, but I'm for it. I'm for it. No, I think that we're going to hear from John Cooper, and he said, they cannot stop the run. Now, I don't know the game plan. None of us do, but I would think we're going to try to at least find out what their defense can do with our running game.
Yeah.
That would be a logical assumption. Of course, sometimes teams find a way to stop the bleeding wherever they really are having problems. But I think it's like an heavyweight arm wrestling contest. You hope you got enough in the tank, to win the match. As the game goes along, I think it's going to be close, certainly for a half, and I'm not predicting ever that Georgia's going to come pouring out with points and gain the advantage in a big way. Maybe we can, maybe we will. That would be nice. But I do feel like that it's like Tennessee. Everybody thought Tennessee was going to score 40 points on us in the first half. Mm-hmm. So you don't think Kirby and Will Muschamp, Glenn Schumann have lost their touch? They proved in the Tennessee game that there was more to football from slinging it. So I'm hoping they'll come with something tonight that'll be the right kind of formula for C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lauren. I agree. Very good. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Our Bulldogs making their third appearance in the 8-year history of the college football playoff. Buckeyes are back for the 5th time. More to come from the Bens. We know you're jacked. Believe me, we are too. They're pretty jacked at TCU right now. I bet those students are going nuts because the Horned Frogs have a 21-3 lead over Michigan midway through the second quarter. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's game day for the Dogs.
We got him again. He went down on the 35. Javon Bullard.
Let's rejoin the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Play fake. Roll to the right a little bit. Set and throw. Deep ball for McConkey. He's open. That's a touchdown. He slides into the end zone. He was 5 yards behind his man. He beat the dickens out of Slaughter. Slaughter got slaughtered, and McConkey was 6.
Last month versus Tennessee, that 37-yard connection late in the first quarter gave our Bulldogs a lead they would not relinquish. Now 13-0, UGA squares off tonight against 11-1 Ohio State for only the second time in the school's long histories. Here with a guest who played a critical role in that Seoul meeting back in 1992 is our Lauren Smith. Lauren?
Thank you. Joining us, Coach John Cooper, who was the head coach in 1992. Eric Zier sitting here. Coach Cooper was our quarterback. You had a pretty interesting quarterback, Kirk Herbstreit. So what do you remember about that game in the Citrus Bowl? We remember that Joe Hollis had coached for us and was your offensive coordinator. Did you gain any advantage out of his knowledge?
Lauren, that's been a long time ago. I've been out of it quite a while now, about 20 years now, but I was a great fan of Georgia. I don't remember a heck of a lot about that game, to be honest with you. I do remember a lot about Georgia football, Vince Dooley, and of course you and I have been good friends forever. I grew up down in Knoxville, Tennessee, watching the Tennessee Vols. So obviously I grew up an SEC fan, but I've got great respect for the Georgia Bulldogs. I really do. I don't think there's any question about it. They are the best team in college football this year.
Well, Coach, you see Ohio State practice occasionally. You've got a great rapport with the head coach, Ryan Day. The personality, every team has a personality. How do you describe this Ohio State team that Georgia will play tonight?
Well, obviously they're very, very disappointed in the way we played against Michigan. I think that's one of the – Michigan's a good, solid football team, although you're probably not watching that game. They're getting beat 21-3 here, in the game they're playing right now against TCU. But I watch him practice. Ryan is really a good friend of mine. I watch him practice, once or twice a week. Lauren, we're really good. He's really good at throwing the football. He's an NFL quarterback coach. He coaches the quarterbacks here at Ohio State. And as you know, we one of the best passing college games, I think, in college football. Got a good quarterback, got some great wide receivers. And to beat us, you got to stop our passing game.
What about the running game? You indicated that was Achilles' heel against Michigan.
Well, our running game, our quarterback has not run the ball. I think he's good enough athlete, Lauren, that he can run it. And if we have any kind of chance tonight against Georgia, I think he is going to have to be, at least Georgia's going to have to count for him, on defense. They can't just turn him loose. And he is a good athlete and can run the ball, but our offense is throwing the football. We've got some wide receivers. I know Alabama's had some great ones, and I watched Alabama today and they've got some great skilled people. But I don't think I've seen a college football team, Lauren, with a group of better wide receivers than we have right now. We had a couple last year that went 10th and 11th in the first round, and we have not missed those guys. This number 18 for us, Harrison, is he's the best wide receiver I've seen in college football this year.
Well, Coach, that's a good scouting report. We appreciate you joining us. Sorry you're not here in Atlanta to enjoy everything. I have a high regard for you and your career at Ohio State. Of course, you coached at Tulsa and Arizona State, I guess it was. And good career, College Football Hall of Fame. You have a good evening, and we'll see you in the new year. Coach John Cooper, head coach at Ohio State in the 90s.
All right, thank you, Lauren.
Good to talk to you, Lauren.
Coach Cooper. Very good. Thank you, Coach Cooper. Beginning in 1988, John Cooper coached the Buckeyes for 13 seasons. Georgia fans, start the new year off right and shop the UGA Bookstore. The UGA Bookstore has all the best Bulldog gifts and apparel from all the best brands like Nike, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, Johnny O, Tommy Bahama, and Vineyard Vines. Believe me, we bought a whole bunch of stuff in December from the bookstore for our family. It's red and black every day at the UGA Bookstore in the heart of campus. The UGA Bookstore, located next to Sanford Stadium, or online 24/7 at uga-bookstore.com. Stetson Bennett and the Bulldogs take on mighty Ohio State at 8:10 right here on this radio station. Eric Zier slides in alongside to analyze the Dogs' offense in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Bennett with a play fake now as we play on first down. Deep ball. He's got a man open. Oh, it's all over the shoulder catch. Caught by McIntosh. It's a race to the end zone. Kenny Mack, they'll catch him. Far sideline inside the Tech 10. Wow.
Taking Georgia Tech to school on that one, 83 yards. Running back Kenny McIntosh is third on the team with 449 receiving yards this season. Did you realize of the 4 Georgia players who have pulled in more than 400 receiving yards this season, only one of them is a wide receiver? You got Brock Bowers at number 1, Kenny Mack at number 3, as mentioned, Darnell Washington at number 4. Ladd McConkey squeezes in there at number 2. Your official Bulldogs Tailgate Show from inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta continues. Tonight's Chick-fil-A Bowl gets the prime time spot, pitting number 1 Georgia versus 4th-ranked Ohio State. The great Eric Zier joins us again. And Z, let's talk about Stetson Bennett first. Against LSU in the SEC championship game, SB4 completed 79% of his passes, went 23 for 29 for 274 yards and 4 TDs. And we laid off in the second half. He is a big-game quarterback if we've ever seen one at UGA.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Not just the SEC championship game either, Honda. You go back to last year's national championship where he's the MVP of that game. You go to the Orange Bowl, MVP of that game, just playing lights out. You come into this year, in our biggest moments against Oregon in this building, against obviously LSU in this building, against Tennessee at home, it just played as good a football as you can play. When the moment is the brightest, that's when he shines the brightest. He's in complete command of this offense, and you could really see last year his confidence begin to grow. He was always a great leader, always had great athletic ability. It was a bit of a gunslinger. As he started to rein that in just a little bit and then work within the confines of the offense, he has just grown and grown, and then catapulting off of that national championship. He is the leader of this football team, and he has grown and gotten better every single week. There's a reason he was in New York. He's one of the elite signal callers in all of college football right now. And once again, there's not going to be a brighter stage anywhere in America when it comes to college football than what we're going to see here tonight. And you have full expectations that he's going to come out and continue to play at those ever high levels.
Let me throw a hypothetical at you. Our run-pass ratio this year, it's been 53% run, 47% pass. Assuming that today's going to be a close game, let's say it never gets beyond 12 points either way for either team, what do you anticipate our run-pass ratio being tonight?
I think if we could draw it up and just run the perfect game, it would be very similar to that. We want to be balanced if we can. And you think about all of our big plays that we have in the passing game. So many of those come off of play action. You have to establish a run, and against have to establish a run game in order for all of that to come together and mesh. And it's really what our offense is built around schematically. And you look at this Ohio State defense. Listen, they are physical. There's a lot of talk just kind of out in the atmosphere right now that Ohio State is soft. That is very, very far from the truth. This Ohio State team is a physical football team. They know how to get after you, but they can get worn down. You saw it in the Michigan game where early on Michigan was having to go to the air, had a couple of big plays, a couple busted coverages, but as you got late into the football game, that's where Ohio State wore down. Expect something very similar to the way that Georgia runs the football, where it's just body blow against everybody that we play. We're late in the game. Can we now just take the football game over with our big boys up front?
All right, quickly now, the Joe Moore Award awarded to the top offensive line in the nation went to Michigan. The Georgia players thought that they might be they were certainly finalists, thought that they might win it. Is that any kind of motivation for the linemen, and how much can really help? I mean, do you find resolve in the fourth quarter with knowledge of that snub, or is that gone the first time you get punched in the mouth?
Listen, I think that you find resolve in practice, and I think it puts a chip on your shoulder in practice leading up to a game like this. But as soon as you get hit in the mouth for the first time, the only thing that you're focused on is the game plan of what we have to go do to win every single down and every single snap. So once the game starts, that goes away, but no question it puts a chip on your shoulder and gives you just a little bit more to dig a little bit deeper, to find a little bit more grit as you're going through 28 days of practice leading up into this football game.
All right, thank you, Eric. Great insight as always. The voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, is swinging a weighted bat. He'll step to the plate next as we creep closer to number 1 Georgia, 4th-ranked Ohio State, the CFP semifinal. Drink will flow and blood will spill, and if the boys want to fight, you better let them. 8:10 here on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Counting you down to kickoff.
Bowers breaking away midfield. Bowers will take it to the house all the way.
You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
2nd down, 11. Daniels wants to run, nowhere to go. We're going to gobble him up with red shirts. One guy just picked him up off the turf, and they blow the whistle, and that was Jalen Carter. His feet were dangling up in the air. Carter had him picked up off the ground. He could have just obliterated him, but he just held him up until they blew the whistle dead. That's a sack.
You'll see that sack and think about Keeley's leap last year, an interception, and Lindsey Scott running down the field against Florida in 1980, and wonder if we win today and then again next Monday at SoFi will Jalen Carter's ragdoll lift of Jaden Daniels become a fixed memory from 2022.
I think it's already there. Yeah, I think that might be the photo of the season.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was a laughable moment.
It was
for all Georgia fans certainly, and I'm sure there were a lot of gifts made over Christmas with that photo.
It was just so different, for all the stuff we've seen in football. Never seen.
Yeah, you never see a guy just hoist another dude off the ground.
And we all had the same feeling, which was, don't throw him down.
Don't get a flag.
The arm shot up instead. That was great. All right, Scott Howard back with us, the voice of the Dogs. And, buddy, we've been together on these broadcasts for 30 years now, and I'm going to say it again. There's just so much to be happy about. These are the good old days for Georgia football.
Yeah, and you may not realize it when you're in the middle of it.
Right.
I went to Georgia in the 80s, in the early 80s. My freshman year was our national championship season. And, you're thinking, well, I can't get any better than this. And then the next 2 or 3, 4 years were almost equally as good. And then certainly that's looked back upon as the golden years of Georgia football. But, I think we've surpassed that now.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the numbers, the exact numbers, wins and losses and all that stuff don't bear it out. But just the level of play that we're getting out of this team, in the current situation, in the playoffs, with so much on the line, more games added to the schedule.
That's what I was going to say.
All of that. I mean, it's more games. It's
more big games.
Yes, exactly. And certainly the season hasn't lost any momentum. You still have to win the season to get to this point. Yeah. And Georgia has done that better than anybody the last 2 years by going undefeated in the regular season. Riding a long winning streak now, 31 out of 32 wins in the last 32 games. I mean, it's crazy. So, yeah, you really have to embrace this moment. As you say, these are the good old days.
These are the good old days. All right, injuries. We know Ohio State's got a couple of big ones, and Ladd McConkey and Warren McClendon were both injured against LSU. Tell us what the updates are that you know of, please.
Well, that's the big secret, and I got nothing out of anybody on those. If you ask my personal opinion, I feel like McConkey's going to be available to play.
Okay.
McClendon might be more questionable in my mind. I haven't been told that, but that's just what I think. I think we'll see A.D. Mitchell maybe a little more today. We saw him a little bit in the SEC Championship 4 weeks ago as he made his return, which was nice. Ohio State's got a couple of guys out that we know for sure. Henderson, their number 2 running back, is out with that foot injury that Zaire was talking about earlier. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba, one of their receivers, he's only played 3 games for them this season.
Yeah.
He's a terrific receiver, but he wasn't able to go much, and he won't be able to go in this one as well. So those are kind of the key guys that are out.
All right, thank you. Mike White, Bulldogs basketball, going great this year.
Boy, is it really. I mean, 10-3 going into a conference play.
Yeah.
You've probably heard the number. Georgia is only the 4th team in program history to win 10 games before January. Yep. And this is one of the teams. The previous 3
went on to go to the NCAA tournament. You know, maybe that's in the cards for this Georgia team this year. They're 10-3. Auburn coming up next Wednesday in the next game.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Scott Howard. Time now to check where the Dogs rank, presented by Northside Hospital. And then there were 4. Sitting atop them all at number 1 is 13-0 Georgia. Northside Hospital is guided by one clear direction, a mission to heal. With expertise in maternity, heart, cancer, orthopedics, and more, you can move into tomorrow with confidence. For a healthier future together, look to Northside Hospital. Special teams. Do the Dogs have an advantage today? Let's ask an expert. Hall of Famer Kevin Butler, 2 minutes from Mark on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's game day for the Dogs.
We got him again. He went down on the 35. Javon Bullard.
Let's rejoin the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Out of the pistol, single setback. Run it to the left, and we run a reverse, and then we throw it with A.D. Mitchell to big Darnell Washington in the end zone. He makes the catch for the 2-point conversion.
Kevin Butler joins us now from MBS in the ATL. And Kevin, did you have a great Christmas with those sweet grandbabies?
Oh, we did, Neil. I appreciate it. I hope everybody out there in Bulldog Nation had a great Christmas. You know, playing with the grandkids at Christmas, it brings back the best memories of Christmas, and we're making new ones.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Special teams, we just heard the highlight of A.D. Mitchell to Darnell on the 2-point conversion against LSU in the SEC championship game. Dogs made a number of huge plays in that contest versus the Bayou Bengals.
Yeah, you know, special teams always plays a little bit bigger role in these big games, and tonight's no different. We're looking at an Ohio State team that really has a very sound special teams. Jesse Murko, who's their punter, 10th nationally in a 45-yard average. So, you know, he's kicked in some tough weather, so I would expect him to kick it a little stronger, a little higher tonight. They are ranked 24th in the nation at 41 yards net, so anytime we can get that 4, 5, 6 yards after maybe Ladd makes a good catch, first thing, protect that ball. But if we can get upfield and get any yards on them, that'll be a good effort by Georgia on the punt return.
Yeah, that's your hidden yardage you always talk about. Kevin, Jack Podlesny, he continues to soar up the all-time Georgia records chart. Pod's 344 career points ranks 6th best in school history. Kevin Butler is 5th with 353, and I know you have never been one to wrap your arms around and say, this is mine, you know, your success. And I gather that you are delighted for Pod.
I am. I'm so very proud of him. SEC Special Team Player of the Year. You know, he was a Lou Groza finalist there, and it's just something that I get a lot of joy out of. A kid from down in St. Simons area, you know, close to Savannah, coming up here and working to get that opportunity. He worked very hard. He had to compete. He got out there, and he's just been really consistent, and that's going to play a big role as we see it all year long. Every time he's been in there, he scored big points. You know, you go right back to that Kentucky game. Without him, who knows if we'd be here.
No doubt. All right, thank you, Kevin Butler, the Hall of Famer, joining us here on our Tailgate Show. Dogs fans, be sure to check out the G Shop at GeorgiaDogs.com for exclusive releases of Nike Game Day official apparel, just like the coaches wear. Visit GeorgiaDogs.com and the G Shop today. You know him from ESPN's College Game Day and NFL's Thursday Night Football. Long before those gigs, though, he was quarterback at Ohio State and had to take on Eric Zier, Garrison Hurst, and the Red and Black in a bowl game. Lauren Smith returns with Kirk Herbstreit next on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's time to unleash the Dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Play fake and a throw by Bennett. Wide open down the middle is Brock Bowers. Breaks a tackle at the 49. Changes direction. There he goes. He's with Coach Gillett, the Napa California native, into the end zone.
Touchdown, Brock Bowers.
There's a combo we'd love to see get on the board early and often today, right? Bennett to Bowers for 6 versus South Carolina earlier this year. Top-ranked Georgia, number 4, Ohio State. Both teams, buses snaking through traffic with their police escorts right now on the way to the stadium for our CFP semifinal. And Lauren Smith has got a special guest this week. Lauren, take it away.
Well, it's great to have an opportunity to catch up with Kirk Herbstreit. As many games as you covered, as much as you travel, do you know where home is?
Well, I just did the Cowboys and Titans in Nashville, and I just called that game Thursday night, and I flew in after, got in at 4 in the morning to Atlanta, and now a lot of prep today with Ohio State's coaches and players, and then right here at Georgia's hotel. And so now that's the reason I can't remember who the Titans played, is because I keep all these games I'm doing in silos, and once it's done, it's done. And now I'm all about Georgia and Ohio State and my prep. So, yeah, it's been hard to keep everything together doing NFL and college this year.
The difference between college and pro football from an announcer's, a broadcaster's perspective.
You know, what's interesting is if you go back to the 70s or 80s or 90s or even 2000 to probably 2020, 15, 20, it was a big separation as far as style of play. You know, the NFL was more Peyton Manning and, Tom Brady, and it was more in the pocket. And now that era of quarterback is kind of working its way out of the NFL. And now you're having that Pat Mahomes type of guy and Josh Allen and Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson. And it's more of a dual threat guy.
Fran Tarkington very adamant that Stetson Bennett can play on Sunday. Would you agree? I disagree.
I just was sitting with Stetson in our meeting, and I brought up to him that Brock Purdy is a great example of who he can be in the NFL. You know, I think we've left that era of worrying about how tall a guy is and does he have to be in the pocket, 6'5", and make every throw. I'm not saying there's not still a place for that, but I'm saying a guy like Brock Purdy out of Iowa State, 4-year starter, won a lot of games, won a Big 12 championship for Iowa State, which is unheard of. He goes to the NFL. He's Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft, and he goes to play for Kyle Shanahan. And they have some injuries. He's forced into action. And here's a team trying to make a run of the playoffs. And he comes in, and what he reminded everybody is it's not about how tall you are. It's not about how strong your arm is. It's about being able to be cerebral and being able to process coverage and deliver the football accurately. Who better represents that than Stetson Bennett? Now, he would have to go to the right coach and the right system, but if he did, there's no reason he shouldn't be afforded that opportunity, and I think he'd be able to take advantage of it.
One final question. We're reaching the end of the 14 playoff format. Good or bad?
I kind of have mixed views. I like the BCS era because it was 2 teams, and it was an era where we didn't have all these opt-outs in college games, college bowl games, and it was not as such a focus. I feel like now we're in an era where it's all about the playoff. It's all about those 4 teams. And if you're at 6 or 7 or 8, by the way, in the nation, it's like you're an afterthought. You don't matter. It reminds me, because I'm a basketball fan, March Madness we all get excited about, but are you really excited about the NIT tournament? That's what college football is becoming. Unfortunately, we don't have 68 teams that go into it. We have 4. So if you're 5 or below, you feel irrelevant, and that's not right.
Yes.
That shouldn't be the way it is in college football. And eventually we're going to go to 12 teams. And if you're 13 or down, you're irrelevant. And to me, if you're 43 and down, maybe you are irrelevant. You didn't have a great year. But if you're 12 or 13 or 14, to me, some of those teams should be celebrated for a great year they've had. So that's my only downfall with this, is how much we focus and concentrate on just the teams that make the playoff and tend to just write off and dismiss the teams that don't make it.
Well, not that it matters, but I'm in your corner on that. I have the same view. I'd like to thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Appreciate Kirk Herbstreit joining us, and we go back over to Neil Williamson.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Thanks to Kirk for taking the time. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network. Eric Zier is standing by, ready to share his dog's desires for today's Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl semifinal. The Bulldogs versus the Buckeyes. Collisions commence at 8:10 on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Counting you down to kickoff.
Bowers breaking away midfield. Bowers will take it to the house all the way.
You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
We'll fake the toss sweep to the right and pitch it to Ladd McConkey coming back this way. Ladd breaking tackles. Ladd may go 40, 30, near sideline, foot race, 10, 5, touchdown, McConkey.
We had a nail-biter in Starkville after Mississippi State returned a punt 63 yards for a TD mere seconds prior to the end of the first half. Georgia led just 17-12 on a frigid night at Mississippi State when on the second play of the second half, Ladd McConkey tore off on that 70-yard TD sprint. And our Dogs never looked back. Still unblemished today, 13-0 Georgia getting ready to tangle with number 4 Ohio State. Zier's Desires are brought to you by Athens Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to partner with the Georgia Bulldogs in the constant pursuit of excellence. Get the best selection at Georgia's largest Jeep facility. Go to athensdcjr.com. Expect more, get more. What do you expect, Z?
Well, Hondo, one, Dogs need to handle the barrage early that is expected to come from Ohio State. We've been hearing about this for a month now, that Ohio State really disrespected, that should they be or shouldn't they be in this football game. They're playing with the chip on their shoulder. They've stated they've got nothing to lose. I expect haymaker after haymaker after haymaker coming from this Ohio State offense early. Dogs need to go handle that and then get this football game where they play at their pace and their momentum, but expect for Ohio State to come out swinging punches from wherever they can throw punches from. Dogs need to be able to withstand that. On the defensive side of the ball, critical that we get in the face and we're disruptive for quarterback, Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud. Stroud is extremely accurate. He is smart with the football. Over 3,000 yards throwing the football, completing 66% of his passes. He's a complete a package as you're going to find. And if you give him a clean pocket, he can pick you apart. I don't care what kind of coverages you play. Dogs have got to get pressure consistently through the game, and we have to do it with only rushing 4. If we have to blitz continuously through this game, Stroud's good enough to go beat us. If we can get pressure on him, especially interior pressure. So look for a big day from Jalen Carter to disrupt vision. And if we make C.J. Stroud, even if we're not getting him on the ground, hold the ball for a split second, it throws this rhythm and timing of this Ohio State offense off just a little bit. Also on the defensive side of the ball, have to minimize explosive. The Buckeyes have got great receivers in Harrison and Egbuka. They can hurt you in a lot of different ways. They've got other weapons as well catching the football. We've got to keep the football in front of us, limit yards after catch, make this Buckeye offense drive the football field on us. On the offensive side of the ball, get multiple with the formations and personnel groupings that we have. You go back to the Michigan game, Ohio State really had control of that football game until 3 or 4 busted coverages that led to touchdowns. We're going to have opportunities to go get vertical. We can create some confusion because of the matchup problems that we can show, and Dogs will have to get vertical through some of that confusion that we create, and then finally win the turnover battle. This team, if we give them the football too many times and give them extra possessions, they are good enough to go beat us, and it could be a long afternoon for the Dogs. Conversely, we win the turnover battle, we probably win this football game today.
Excellent. Thank you, Z, very much. Scott Howard will grab a hold of Coach Kirby Smart. They'll have an exclusive scouting report for you of today's college football playoff semifinal coming up within the next 20 minutes or so. We are here inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We see, some fans have trickled in, just a handful, but the Ohio State band is here and making its way up into the stands far to the other side of us, down by the Ohio State end zone. In fact, we're down next to the Georgia painted end zone here at MBS, and we'll be back with more after this on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's game day for the Dogs.
We got him again. He went down on the 35. Javon Bullard.
Let's rejoin the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Lone setback is McIntosh. Play fake Bennett wants to throw, and back shoulder throw. Oh my goodness! Caught Bowers off a tip. 40, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown! Touchdown! Brock Bowers caught the tip. Florida tipped it. Bowers stayed with it, and pay dirt for the Dogs.
Catch of the year. It came against the Gators in Georgia's 5th win over Florida in the past 6 seasons. That's your Make the Call presented by Ken Nugent. Injured in a wreck? There's only one call, that's all, 1-800-CALL-KEN. And congratulations to Brock Bowers, who won the 2022 John Mackey Award, given to the college football's top tight end. Now our DJ Shockley standing by on the Scana sideline below with the J. Reed Parker Director of Athletics, Josh Brooks. Take it away, Shock.
All right, thanks, Hondo. Yeah, man, I got Josh standing here. Josh, obviously, let's just talk about the moment we're in right now. Obviously, a big-time game. Georgia back in the college football playoffs. Let's talk about what this week has been about and what it's meant to, obviously, the program, but everybody playing a game like this.
Yeah, first of all, it's an honor to be in the college football playoffs, especially 2 years in a row, 3rd time under Coach Smart. In the first part, you want to enjoy it, right? This is a special experience. I look back on my experiences in bowl games as a student, as a GA. It's a special experience, but don't forget why you're here, right? And this is a big stage, big moment, but we get back to what we do. We don't have to do anything different, but do what we do, play fast, physical football, and focus on just that, playing football.
I'm sure people want to know what do you get to do during the game? Do you get to watch it, enjoy it, and sit back and kind of critique it, or you have to be Josh Brooks, the president, and you got to be the AD and walking around doing all that?
No, the home games I do a little bit more entertaining and seeing people getting around. But games like this on the road, I get to just sit back and watch. But look, I'm as nervous as anybody, and you feel like you've all the hay's in the barn, right? Yeah. And now at this moment, you just sit back and watch and trust that we've got great coaches, great student athletes, and support staff, and let it rip.
You've been around the ball your whole life. Just tell me what you expect from this ball game. Keys, what must happen for our Dogs to have a chance to play on January 9th in the national championship game?
Look, at the end of the day, this is 2 of the best 4 teams in the country going at it. So it's going to be a physical football game. Watching them, I think, we always talk about turnovers, right? That's one of the first keys. I think it's going to be especially important tonight. And I think when you're playing an offense like this, they're going to have a lot of big plays. They got to limit those big plays. And if you do have 1 or 2, it's not to the world. Right. You got to forget it and drive on, right? Fido, that's what I was talking about. Forget it, drive on, and survive that. There may be a wave here, but keep playing our game. And I think the physical game that we play, you hope that we just wear them down, and we're the ones standing late in the 4th quarter.
Josh, let's go get a dub, baby. Let's go. Go Dogs.
Where does it always start? DJ?
At the line of scrimmage, baby.
Let's go Dogs.
All right, go Dogs. Back up to you, Hondo.
All right. Thank you, DJ. Thank you to Josh. And thanks again to the folks at Ken Nugent for that Make the Call at the top of our segment there. It's a college football playoff semifinal between undefeated Georgia and once beaten Ohio State. We'll come back with DJ Shockley and Scott Howard, Eric Zier, Lauren Smith, to our prediction segments next on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's time to unleash the Dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got to sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
This moment of commitment is brought to you by Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance. Always the home team. The University of Georgia is powered by purpose. We are a community of leaders, builders, and innovators on a mission to improve the lives of people across the world. As an academic and athletic powerhouse, we are committed to achieving at the highest levels and delivering impact through research and service. We are the University of Georgia, where possibility becomes reality.
2 tight ends left for Georgia. Milton shifts behind Bennett from left to right, gets the handoff, runs straight ahead, right behind the line. Big hole. Milton, 45-50, 45-40, near sideline 30, stiff arm 20. And out of bounds at the 15, way down on the left end of the field. Kendall Milton had a huge gaping hole.
Great to see Kendall Milton break off a long gainer for the second straight outing. Kendall's 51 yards there versus LSU, preceded by a 44-yard touchdown jaunt against Georgia Tech back on the week prior in late November. Happy New Year from our crew with the Bulldogs Tailgate Show. Luke Nadkarni, our studio producer. Adam Gillespie is our engineer here at MBS. Chris Schiavone in the back, trying desperately to sell his NFT investments. I'm not sure exactly what those are. Trading cards. It's time to bring back our entire cast. Scott Howard, Eric Zier, DJ Shockley, Lauren Smith. Everybody's in the booth except Shock, who's with us. You were down on the 20 last time I saw you, Shock. Can't see you right now, but that's all right. Last time out, Lauren and Scott finished 1-3. The rest of us were 2-2. Now on to today's predictions. Mississippi State versus Illinois Monday in Tampa. The voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard.
Well, I want to go with Mississippi State in this one just for sentimental reasons. Illinois has got a great defense, but I'm going to go with the Bulldogs. Picking bowl games are tough, though, because you never know what the roster looks like, how teams are going to play. Of course, my season picks weren't very good either. So, I'll go with Mississippi State.
Yeah, I think this is one that there is going to be some motivation for Mississippi State playing for Mike Leach, and obviously a very sad period in between bowl games as he passes. So I think this Bulldog team is going to be fired up to win one for him one more time.
How about them Maroon Dogs? I'm going to go with Mississippi State also.
All right, Shock?
Yeah, there's no way I can go against the Mississippi State Bulldogs and Mike Leach. I think Z said it poignantly. Just something different. So absolutely rooting for Mississippi State in this game.
Yeah, I like what Brett Bielema has done with Illinois. They don't have their running back for this game, though. So it's unanimous, man. I'm going with the Maroons as well. Penn State versus Utah on Monday in the Rose Bowl. I'll take the Utes.
I like the Utes, too. I'll tell you, the really solid football team. The Penn State, not bad either. I don't think they have the firepower that Utah has.
Shock?
I'm going with the Utes, too, as well. I like Utah. They always found a way to win, even throughout this season. Beat USC twice. That's tough to do, so I like the Utes.
I'll make it 4 for 4. I like Utah in this one.
I'm going to go with the Nittany Lions.
All right, very good.
I don't have a reason. I don't really care.
Just to be different.
Just to be different. Southern Cal versus Tulane. That's Monday in Orlando. Lauren Smith, start us out.
Well, I'm not dumb enough to pick Tulane. But wait a minute, they're not that bad, are they?
No, they're not that bad. I think they come in ranked 18th. DJ?
I'm going with Southern Cal, too, in the Heisman tie.
Yeah, I'll take USC to win. And I think they're in the Cotton Bowl, aren't they?
Yes, I think you're right. Trojans stick a pin in the Green Waves balloon.
I'm right there jumping on that bandwagon. I like the Trojans as well.
Ooh, we have very few differences on our picks, men.
Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals. Monday night, it's a rematch of last year's AFC title game. Bills have won 6 in a row, the Bengals 7. DJ Shockley.
I'm going with the Bills. The Bills tough. We got my man Isaiah McKenzie on the Bills. I like that, man. I'm riding with the Bills.
I'll try the Bills, too. A little double your pleasure there.
All right, I will give me Cincy at home.
In honor of my good buddy Joshua Dean, let's go Buffalo.
I like Joe Burrow and the Bengals in that one to win at home.
All right, at least we get a little bit of difference there, and Lauren gave us the Nittany Lions, so very good, fellas. Thank you. We have Coach Kirby Smart. He's standing by with our Scott Howard. Talk to Coach Smart with an exclusive scouting report as number 1 Georgia has entered the Benz to take on 4th-ranked Ohio State. Stay with us on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Counting you down to kickoff.
Bowers breaking away midfield. Bowers will take it to the house all the way.
You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Snap back to Bennett in the pocket. He wants to throw. He's got McIntosh breaking open. Caught at the 35, the 30. Breaks a tackle, 25, 20. Between the hash marks and down to the 15-yard line. Kenny Mack. Back here on the Bulldogs Tailgate Show, it's time to take a look at today's opponent, the Ohio State Buckeyes. This scouting report with Coach Kirby Smart is presented by Associated Credit Union. And, Coach, you've had a long time to look at these guys. They've had a long time to look at Georgia as well. What are your thoughts initially on this Ohio State team?
A lot of talent. Enjoyed watching them. We study them different times, offensively and defensively. They've got a lot of good football players. They play really hard. Got a lot of respect for them. Very talented wide receiver group. Obviously, C.J. Stroud is a Heisman finalist at the quarterback position, and they've got 2 or 3 edge rushers that are elite players as well on their defense. So it makes for some really great matchups in terms of this game.
The core of the receiving group, is that the strength of their offensive team?
Yeah, I think that's the strength of that, and have 2 really good tackles and a great quarterback.
Tell me a little bit about Stroud and how he plays quarterback in comparison to the way our guy Stetson. Both guys were Heisman finalists. What does Stroud do that makes him that kind of a player?
Well, he's got great velocity on the ball. He can spread the ball across the field. I think the differences in the 2 quarterbacks are the offensive differences, not necessarily that the quarterbacks are different. They're both athletic enough to run. They're both really good passers. They both prefer to pass over run, but they both can run. And their offenses, the way the offense is set up, ours runs through play actions, tight ends. There's a little more drop back, and there'll probably be a little more drop back versus us. But both quarterbacks are very talented.
You're certainly familiar with him. He's talked about this week, in fact, that Georgia was very high on his list of teams when he was being recruited. What were your thoughts about him as a player coming out of high school?
Great young man, just very intelligent, very respectful, very polite, just a lot of respect for the way he's grown. And his mom was very gracious host for us in their home, and then he came out and saw us in Athens, so it was a good relationship.
How much of a load is their receiver, Marvin Harrison?
He's a great player. He's got great ball skills. I mean, it's not just him. Emeka is a great player as well. Julian Fleming is one of the fastest, biggest guys we've gone against. They do it by committee, and they've got really good players at the wideout position.
Their offensive line is very large. Beyond that, what do they look like?
Well, they're athletic. The 2 tackles will be as good as we faced. And one of our big keys to this game, if we're going to have a shot, we got to affect C.J. Stroud, and we've got to disrupt him. So it starts with, can we win against the tackles, or can we win on the interior 3 to get the quarterback out of rhythm? His best attribute is when he's in rhythm and everything's good. He's really good.
Defensively, tell us about that side of the ball.
Yeah, they got really good pass rushers, great guys on the edge. Recruited several of those guys coming out. Zach Harrison was a guy that we tried to sign. He was a really good player. JT is phenomenal. He makes the most production on their team and very productive. They got some really good players defensively, and their front guys, they rotate and keep them fresh.
Do they go deep beyond the front line guys, or do they have a core group that they stick with pretty much the whole game?
Well, they're like us. They play 5 or 6 guys inside and 4 or 5 guys outside, and they've got really good guys to play.
What did you see from the defense in that Michigan game? What was the reason that they didn't have success in that second half?
They started taking some chances because they were down 2 scores. And, when you take chances down 2 scores, you're going to either give up big plays or make big plays. And they had a couple they gave up that they were trying really hard to stop them. Now, getting down 2 scores came about because of some turnovers on offense, and also Michigan converted some 4th downs. And when you convert 4th downs, those are like turnovers.
Did they offer anything on special teams?
You got a really good team on special teams, really good athletes, pressure punts. They put pressure on you in all phases.
Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck against Ohio State, and we'll catch up with you later.
Thanks.
All right, that's Coach Kirby Smart. That's our scouting report brought to you by Associated Credit Union, where anyone in Georgia can live, bank, and grow. Hondo, we'll send it back to you for more of the Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
All right, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Coach. Congratulations to Kirby Smart, named SEC Coach of the Year earlier this month. Bulldogs fans, tune in tomorrow at midnight to WSB TV Channel 2 to catch the latest episode of Kirby Smart All Access. That's Kirby Smart All Access tomorrow at midnight on WSB TV Channel 2 or anytime next week at GeorgiaDogs.com. Number 1, Georgia. Number 4, Ohio State. Legacy programs. Huge showdown to determine one of the finalists in next week's national championship game. In the other game, they're midway through the third quarter right now. Texas Christian leading number 2 Michigan 21-9. Michigan trying to flea flicker and completing it for a touchdown as I speak. So it's going to make it about 21-16 with an extra point unless they go for 2. Wouldn't make sense though because 4 doesn't matter versus 5 there. All right, Eric Zier, DJ Shockley standing by. They'll help us game plan next on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's game day for the Dogs.
We got him again. He went down on the 35. Javon Bullard.
Let's rejoin the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Milton's in the backfield. Bennett throws for the end zone and caught. McConkey at the 1. Crosses the goal line. Touchdown. Lad McConkey tackled 1 yard deep in the end zone.
Heisman Trophy finalist Stetson Bennett with the TD toss earlier this month versus LSU. Today's game plan for success is brought to you by Piedmont Bank. Piedmont Bank is a proud supporter of the UGA Athletic Association. See what we can accomplish together at Piedmont.bank. Neil Williamson, Eric Zier in our broadcast booth, DJ Shockley on the field at MBS on the Scanna sideline. Our Dogs enter tonight's battle with Ohio State, averaging nearly 40 points per game. The Buckeyes in their last outing were basted and deep fried by Michigan to the tune of 45 points, 530 yards. What did the Wolverines do to OSU, and should Georgia replicate that recipe tonight? And if not, what should Todd Monken's game plan entail for Georgia's offense? Z, you go first.
Well, I'll tell you, Hondo, when you go back and look at the Ohio State-Michigan game, it was a game that Michigan really had under control for big parts of that football game. They were playing fast. They were playing physical. They were limiting Michigan on the ground. And then all of a sudden, you saw some chinks in the armor. You saw missed tackles outside that yet led to big chunks of yardage being gained, led to touchdowns. You saw busted coverages, 3 or 4 of them that led to big gains or touchdowns. And then Michigan just absolutely wore them down. And so the Dogs, as they're taking a look at that, listen, this Ohio State team can play defense. There's been a lot of talk, I think, around the country. Is Ohio State soft? They are far from soft. They are a physical, hard-nosed football team that plays aggressive. A lot of 0, a lot of 1 coverage, at least against the Michigan Wolverines in the last regular game of the season. If the Dogs see that, we need to take shots vertically downfield early. I think the more multiple we can look with in terms of personnel groupings, in terms of formations, we can create confusion. We can create matchup problems that allow us to run free as well. I wouldn't expect, though, much of a change of anything from what the Dogs have done all year. We're going to want to get our tight ends involved in the football game early, create matchup problems, and then run the football. And it's a game, as this game progresses and the body blows just continue and continue. Ohio State has shown the propensity to begin to cave a little bit. It's going to be a battle early, but if we keep pounding them, we're going to get some vertical shots. And we're going to be able to run the football late in the game.
DJ, former Alabama All-SEC and New Orleans Saints defensive back Roman Harper declared this week, you're not going to run the football, meaning against Georgia. All you're doing is just wasting it down. Shock, should Ohio State maybe just make cursory attempts to run and instead just chuck the rock all over the yard?
I think they have to try to be balanced. And when I mean balanced, doesn't mean you have the same amount of yards running and throwing. I think you got to be balanced in the standpoint of run when you have to, run when you need to. Maybe short yardage, maybe on first down you need to pick up 2, 3, 4 yards in the ball game. I don't think you come in here thinking you're going to rush the ball for 150 yards in this game and give you a chance to win it. Use the run game to kind of your advantage if you're Ohio State, but don't expect to be able to do it at all times and just do it whenever you want to. This is a game where, Georgia has been really good in the run, been really good versus the pass, but what are you going to be able to give up? And I think Ohio State wants to be able to run the football just to keep Georgia honest, because if not, you're going to have everybody around the line of scrimmage. But we also have to be aware of here comes play action. So we can't allow the run and the pass to be a big thing. Take away one and play really solid on the back end and tackle well in space, whether it's in the run game or the pass game. I think that's the biggest part. Tackle well in space, and you got a chance to slow this Ohio State offense down and make them choose.
Which one you going to take away?
Well, I think you got to take away the run, because you know they're going to want to throw the football. If you give them a chance to be able to run the football and throw it, that's not a good combination you want. So I say take away the run and force them to throw the football, and you know we can get after the passer.
All right, thank you very much, fellas. Terrific observations from two of the best, DJ Shockley, Eric Zier. Fans continuing to make their way into MBS. I see some in the...
It's not a good combination you want. So I say take away the run and force them to throw the football, and you know we can get after the passer.
All right, thank you very much, fellas. Terrific observations from two of the best, DJ Shockley, Eric Zier. Fans continuing to make their way into MBS. I see some in the Georgia Redcoat Marching Band have now made it into the stadium as well. It's 13-0 Georgia on a mission to defend its national title. 11-1 Ohio State with the purpose of its own in pursuit of the Natty, while also hoping to wash away the bad taste of a butt-whipping loss to Michigan back in November. We'll have more from Atlanta in moments, so grab a cold one and keep your radio tuned to the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
From the 5, second down. Claps his hands. Bennett with the ball. Looks to the left, throws it back line of the end zone. Reaching catch. He got the feet in. Touchdown. Marcus Rosemy. Jack Saint with a brilliant leaping catch right under the goalpost.
Oh, terrific catch indeed, and a laser to Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint as Georgia smoked Tennessee last month between the hedges. Controlled atmosphere of Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Number 1 Georgia versus number 4 Ohio State, the CFP semifinal. In the other game, Kansas State just answered that Michigan touchdown by marching 75 yards and 6 fast plays. And now the Horned Frogs, Kansas State, goodness gracious, TCU. I don't know why I said Kansas State there. Oh, maybe the purple uniforms. Well, TCU did it anyway, 27-16 now. TCU on top. And here's our Lauren Smith with a special guest, and hopefully I'll get this right, Lauren.
All right, Gary Stoken down on the field. Are you with us, Gary?
Yeah.
Can you,
Lauren, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. I can hear you. Gary Stoken, you know, the Peach Bowl executive director, and he wears more hats than anybody in Atlanta. And he wears every kind of hat except a Stetson. But tell us, Gary, you've been on with us before, but what kind of records have been set this game with Georgia's contingent? Do you know if you sold more tickets than ever before?
Georgia sold out their allotment of 13,000 tickets in the first day, which I don't know if they've ever done that before. And Josh Brooks.
Superlatives related to the red and black.
Well, certainly. When you got Kirby Smart, this is an opportunity for people to make a trivia bet with people. Kirby is the only player or coach that has played in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, coached in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and coached in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. And he's won all 3, so that's a trivia question some Georgia fans can win a beer on.
Gary, this game is going to be played 2 heavyweights. This is the highlight of the Peach Bowl years, I would say, having this game. How often can you expect to get this game back in Atlanta? Do you have an opinion that is based on some sort of discussion with the powers that be?
Well, this will be the highest attended game ever in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We'll break our own record of the 2019 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl CFP semifinal with LSU Oklahoma. We will have over 79,000 people in here, which is more than the SEC championship, Super Bowl, any other game that's been played in this stadium.
Well, if you had another 1,000 tickets, what could you sell them for?
Well, we've brought 2,800 standing room only in, and the last I talked to our guy, they were going for $500 a ticket. So we could have probably sold another, I would say with both Ohio State and Georgia, we'd have sold another 50,000 tickets to this game.
Now, you've been under pressure all week, running from pillar to post. You're going to take a little time off after the game?
Well, we're going to head to L.A. and follow whoever wins our game here and hope they win the national championship. So we'll be out there for a week. We have some meetings with ESPN. We're always, building relationships and trying to get deals done. So the work never ends, brother.
All right, thanks for joining us, Gary Stoken, the Executive Director of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And Neil, quickly before we go, we want to say goodbye to our old friend Steve Colquitt, who is right here to tell us what was your high moment at Georgia. He's really been great on Claude Felton's staff and did tremendous work in handling all the photography for years.
Lauren, thank you for that. I think people assume that I'll look back most fondly on the championships and the signature events like this one, but for me, it will be the daily interactions with our coworkers, our student athletes, our coaches, our support staff. It has been an amazing ride to go along with them. I owe everything that I have professionally to Billy Harper from my days at the Athens Banner-Herald and to Claude Felton from my days in sports communications at Georgia. Everything I've done professionally is because of those two men, and I could not be more grateful to them.
All right, thank you. We go back to Neil and sign off with Steve Colquitt.
All right, thank you, Lawrence. Stephen, great to always have you, buddy. Go Dogs. We're going to miss you a lot. Great friend, Stephen Colquitt, with us here in our booth. As Lauren mentioned, Stephen is going to retire after a whole lot of years in Claude Felton's office. Okay, now back to TCU quickly. They converted the extra point to make it 28-16. Then Michigan had the ball, and a pick six ensued. This time, TCU did not convert the extra point, so it's 34-16. I think there are about 17 minutes left in that game. All right, has Ohio State gone to school on the LSU-Georgia SEC Championship game film? We'll ask Eric Zier in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Counting you down to kickoff.
Bowers breaking away midfield. Bowers will take it to the house all the way.
You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
They move the tight end in motion. Snap it back. Daniels being pressured, and down he goes at the 15-yard line. Sack number 2, Chaz Chambliss.
Chaz Chambliss with the sack versus LSU. J.J. McCarthy with the 20-yard rushing touchdown for Michigan. They are seesawing back and forth here, not with the lead, but with the scores for sure. It's now 34-22. Michigan will probably go for 2 if I had to guess here. It's 34-22 with $1:47 left in the third quarter of the other semifinal. Eric Zier, Neil Hondo Williamson, Georgia versus Ohio State in about 90 minutes. What do we have? 80 minutes. Oh, wow. We are coming close. Earlier this month, LSU rang up 30 points, amassed more than 500 yards of offense against what had been, to that point, a rather formidable Bulldogs defense. Eric, I would imagine that Buckeyes coaches have watched the game film more times than Raymond Babbitt watched Judge Wapner. What particulars did you see LSU take advantage of, allowing the Tigers to dissect the Dogs as they did, and how have Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, and Glenn Schumann addressed those shortcomings?
That was more of a breakdown in what LSU or in what the Dogs were doing defensively, just with basic fundamentals. LSU not doing anything really special from a schematic standpoint. Dogs were in position, but then all of a sudden you take bad angles. You've got busted coverage where you get your eye discipline a little bit off, and you're a 2-deep safety and step up, and you have a post that runs right behind you. There were some soft spots in the middle of our two-deep zone against LSU, and that's just our linebacking core not getting enough depth in coverage. One of the reasons we're so difficult to run with is that we crash quickly, we pursue quickly, but against a team like Ohio State, they'll pick you apart inside if you allow that to happen. So you've got to get depth, make sure you're getting into your zone drops the way you need to, and then just be disciplined. Don't get greedy. All of those things are coachable, which is the good news, and all of those things have been coached up. But you also know that Ohio State coming into this football game, they saw that there were some chinks in the armor. No different than we saw there were chinks in the armor from Ohio State when Michigan played them with all the busted coverages and big plays. So we're going to get pressed, and they're going to go throw the football, and they're going to go see, did we get those things cleaned up? But with this coaching staff, these players, all of those things will get cleaned up for sure.
Okay, C.J. Stroud, you said earlier, maybe the most talented quarterback we've seen. And Bryce Young, we saw him twice last year. Guy won the Heisman Trophy.
This year. Yeah.
Oh, this year.
This year.
Okay, all right, very good. He's manning the controls, very potent offense, number 2 in the nation. How should our defensive brain trust attack the Buckeyes?
The first thing that you've got to go do is get pressure and cloud the pitcher for C.J. Stroud. If he stands in a clean pocket, he will pick you apart. He's completed 66% of his passes. He's got north of 35 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions on the year. He is accurate, knows where to go with the football. He's a smart football player. If you give him a clean pocket, he can pick you apart. But when we get pressure, we have to get pressure with just our 4 down linemen, and that pressure's got to come through the middle where it does cloud his vision. And then the secondary, multiple looks. We've got to go give C.J. Stroud coverage looks that he hasn't seen. We've got to be able to disguise well, get the coverages late, make sure that we've got multiple snaps through the game where we've got combo coverages on Marvin Harrison Jr. or Egbuka, where we're taking certain guys away on certain plays. And if we can create just a little bit of confusion and then cloud his vision where all it has to go do is throw your timing off a split second, then all of a sudden the timing and the rhythm that this Ohio State offense depends on, all of a sudden that gets backed up a little bit, and it may not result in an incomplete pass, but it results in limited big plays. We do those things and keep the football in front of us. It'll be a good afternoon for the Dogs.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Eric. You may have heard the crowd behind us. I think both the Georgia and Ohio State fans are cheering for TCU in the other semifinal, and the Horned Frogs just ripped off about a 70-yard run on their second play, and there's the touchdown now on their second play from scrimmage after that Michigan score. So right now it is 40-22, extra point pending for the Horned Frogs. 49 seconds to play in the third quarter of the TCU-Michigan game. Number 1, Georgia. 4th-ranked Ohio State. Unbridled Fury kicks off at 8:10 today on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
365 days a year, just call us up, we'll be right there. Our service is guaranteed. At Shoemake, we take great care. Our experts are always there for you and your family's needs. When your family just can't wait, you can always count on Shoemake.
It's game day for the Dogs.
We got him again. He went down on the 35. Javon Bullard.
Let's rejoin the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
2nd and 10, jet sweep to Bowers. Here he comes, 30, 35, 40, near sideline, 50s. He got the juice. You bet he does. 30, 20, 10, touchdown. There's Bowers doing it again.
Brock Bowers, Georgia's leader with 52 catches for a team-high 726 yards and 6 TDs. But as witnessed by that 75-yard touchdown run, number 19 is a threat in his own multiverse kind of way. The defending national champs back in the college football playoff. Number 1 Georgia taking on once beaten Ohio State tonight. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network. We're joined once again by the voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard. And Scott, please bring us up to date on the bowl games today.
Well, let's see. TCU and Michigan. You just gave that score a little while ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're back and forth now in the second half.
It's been crazy.
Getting ready to go to the final quarter. Almost 16 seconds left in the third. Michigan's down 41-22. And
no, they're not.
No, there's another touchdown. Good Lord. Michigan just scored as we speak. All right, so that score will be changing. Alabama got off to a slow start in the Sugar Bowl today, but rallied to destroy Kansas State 45-20. So the Tide rolls to another victory. Iowa shut out Kentucky. The Wildcats blanked in Nashville today in the Music City Bowl 21-0. And that was it for the bowl games today. The SEC hasn't been great in the bowl games. Let's see, Florida lost their bowl game early on. Missouri lost their bowl game. Arkansas won theirs. Alabama, of course, won theirs today.
Yeah.
Ole Miss lost their bowl game. Who else we got in the league? Tennessee won their bowl game. They beat Clemson last night in the Orange Bowl. You know, it's right around 500.
Right around 500, okay. That Michigan 45-yard TD pass, Eric Zier thinks they're going to bring it back. He thinks the knee was down on the receiver as he was diving.
Like at the one or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
and earlier today, Michigan ended up at the 1-yard line and then fumbled at the 1-yard line when they had a touchdown taken off the board, right? So this will be rather interesting to see. Okay, thank you, Scott. Turnover margin, differential, significant. Ohio State is +7. Georgia is flat even. Same number taken and surrendered for the Dogs. Should I be worried?
I don't think so. Georgia started out the year like a house of fire in that category. They were +6 in the first 3 games, but have been trying to battle uphill the rest of the way. The last 10 games, they finally got it. They're -6 in the last 10 games, but they were +2 against LSU in the SEC championship. LSU turned it over 3 times. Georgia only turned it over once. But Ohio State has been more effective at raking the ball, at coming up with turnovers than has Georgia this season. But I mean, if it happens tonight, obviously it'll be a factor in the ball game. But I don't see, just looking at those 2 numbers based on what they've done to this point, I don't see that as being a big difference in the game.
All right, very good. Thank you, Scott. Looking forward to your call tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I want this thing to start.
When I picked
getting antsy.
When I picked Z up today, he was like, "Oh no, is this day taking forever?"
It is. That's right. Woke up early and it's like 8 o'clock. Oh my goodness, let's get it on.
Yeah, we are just about ready. Georgia and Ohio State, 2 of the greatest programs in college football history, meet for only the 2nd time ever tonight. The winner earns a trip to the national championship game next Monday in L.A. We will revisit the first and only other showdown twixt the Buckeyes and the Bulldogs through the eyes of Larry Munson and Eric Zier in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's time to unleash the Dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Look at the sugar falling out of the sky. He just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose.
Georgia football history through the voice of a legend.
My God almighty, did you see what he did? You talk about a stupid miracle.
Here's another listen back to Larry Munson's greatest calls.
Ohio State's got to go 49 yards. Don't think something can't happen, because it can. But they're down to 7 seconds. Now they bring Chips out, 3 men wide to the right. In a shotgun, Cothran back by Herbstreit. Herbstreit takes it and drops back, floats and throws a long Hail Mary, throwing it long. And Mike Jones intercepts in the end zone, and the ball game is going to end there. He overthrew everybody. Mike Jones went up to intercept, and the Dogs have defeated Ohio State 21-14. We had 3 defenders down there. Only 1 receiver got anywhere near it, and he didn't get near enough. Georgia has defeated Ohio State 21-14, and I'll tell you one thing, the last 5-6 minutes of the game took an eternity.
Larry Munson's Classic Call brought to you by Shoemate Home Services, the best call when your family just can't wait. Proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. 1992 Citrus Bowl. Georgia outlasted the Buckeyes 21-14. The only previous meeting between tonight's opponents. Eric Zier, you helmed the offense for the Dogs that day. And, man, that Buckeyes team, they were loaded with future NFL talent.
Boy, were they ever. We had a few on our roster as well. Really a good football game. But Ohio State on the offensive side of the ball, on the outside, Joey Galloway, I believe, was on that football team. They had a loaded backfield. Robert Smith, who had a great NFL career. Young Eddie George was on that football team.
He was pretty good.
Well, my goodness. A couple of big offensive linemen. What I really remember, though, was who was on the defensive side of the ball. Dan Wilkinson, Big Daddy, was toting the defensive line. Steve Tovar, who was a monster, a monster middle linebacker. My teammate with the Cleveland Browns, we got drafted together, Craig Powell, was also on that football team. Just a lot of talent across the board. For the Dogs, we, of course, had Garrison Hurst that went off that day, had a fantastic football game. Andre Hastings was on that team. He had a great game as well. Max Strong. Really a lot of NFL talent on that team.
Yeah, I read a present-day account of that game by an Ohio State writer, and my favorite part was the following description. All-American running back Garrison Hurst was the big name for the Bulldogs. The third overall pick of the 1993 NFL Draft was the Doak Walker Award winner and the SEC Player of the Year in 1992. Sophomore quarterback Eric Zier was a capable option runner and passer, giving the Bulldogs a balanced offense that blah, blah, blah. You were a regular Randall Cunningham back in the day,
I
weren't
was
you?
indeed. I'm not sure what game that guy watched. No one's ever called me an option quarterback.
I thought that was great. I was like, yes, sir. Thank you very much. All right, Z, thanks a lot. Hey, that Michigan-TCU game, they have finally completed the third quarter. Finally completed it. Michigan outscored TCU 24-20 in the third quarter. It's now 41-30. Horned Frogs lead the Wolverines with 15 to go in the Fiesta Bowl. Eric Zier will return with Scott Howard, Lawrence Smith, DJ Shockley. In 2 minutes, we'll discuss tonight's CFP semifinal between number 1 Georgia, 4th-ranked Ohio State on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Counting you down to kickoff.
Bowers breaking away midfield. Bowers will take it to the house all the way.
You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Van Pran up over the ball with a hand on it. Snaps it back. Pressure from the edges. Bennett's going to take it and run it. Stetson 40, 45-50, 45-40, 35-30. Angles to the left, 20, 10. Does he have it? Yeah! Touchdown, Stetson Bennett.
Giddy up, little doggy. Stetson hitting the turbo button and rolling for 64 yards and a score versus Auburn this year. Thanks for tuning into our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl coverage. Undefeated Georgia getting ready to swap paint with number 4 Ohio State. We just found out our kickoff time has been pushed back to 8:20. 8:20 for kickoff time. And that's because the Michigan-TCU game is taking forever. And another turn of events there. Last time we told you, just minutes ago, that the Horned Frogs were up 41-30 with 3 seconds to go in the third quarter. Well, Michigan kicked off, and on the first play from scrimmage, TCU fumbled, and Michigan recovered. 3 plays later, they were in the end zone. They just converted a 2-point conversion. So it's now TCU 41, Michigan 38 with 14:06 to play. Kickoff and a flag on the play, and we're not going to give you play-by-play for that. We'll just give you updates as we go along. Well, here we in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Like we said, Georgia and Ohio State. It's a rare legacy program's dream matchup. Scott Howard reminds me of us meeting Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl 5 years ago.
Did we play Oklahoma? Yeah, that was one of the all-timers. And it is kind of like this.
I hope the result is the same, but maybe not go into double overtime, you know? Yeah, that Georgia-Oklahoma matchup was epic. It was Georgia's first Rose Bowl in decades. Now, that's obviously not the case here. We're kind of in our backyard, but we haven't played Ohio State in about 3 decades, so there certainly is that. But it's two of the marquee programs in all of college football, and two of the teams that are in bowl games, and two of the teams that win championships a lot. So there are similarities there between the Sooners and the Bulldogs in that Rose Bowl matchup after the 2017 season.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And you talk about that game. It feels like we could have a game very similar in style. Two offenses that are just dominant. Obviously, Georgia with the defensive prowess that we have and how we've been able to execute over the past couple of years. You hope it doesn't get into a shootout like that. But these two offenses very similar to what we saw out in Pasadena with Oklahoma and Georgia that year. Offenses that can go up and down the field. I'll tell you, if that happens after this TCU Michigan game, we may be done at 2:00 in the morning. So buckle up for a long night.
Shock, thoughts on tonight's game?
I mean,
the matchup between the legacy programs that have hardly ever met each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun matchup. It's a reason why we're here in the games at 8 o'clock. It's the reason why all the conversation was talked about, because of all the talent on this field, because of all the plays. As we're watching it right now, TCU going in for another touchdown. Wow. Unbelievable.
Wow. They were 3rd and 7, folks. They were 3rd and 7, and Michigan had just batted down a pass. Michigan with all that momentum, and TCU just threw a 76-yard touchdown. What is it? Was that a little wheel route out of the backfield? What was that?
I think it was just a little flat route.
It was a little flat route there.
Just a shallow cross.
Oh,
just a shallow cross route.
How many defensive coordinators are getting fired tonight?
Oh,
just out of that, or coaches. I mean, they may fire the entire staffs for both teams.
Oh, my goodness. That was crazy. Sorry to interrupt you, Sean.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. But no, but I think this is the premier game. Obviously, I talked about it. So many big-time players going to be on this field tonight making plays. It's just what you like. This is what college football is all about. This is what this part of the season is about, playing in these type of ball games. So I think people are going to be pretty excited to watch this one. I think everybody here is going to be excited about it. There's a different buzz even down here on the sideline than probably any game been around, just because of so many people are down here want to see this game and see these matchups. So unbelievable matchup tonight, and looking forward to how this game's going to turn out.
Well, you tend to forget games that took place even 3 or 4 years ago, like the Notre Dame game in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame had to win that game. It's played in Athens. That was an advantage, but they had to win to have a chance to get into the playoff hunt. And Georgia just played a dominant game and really just played their anatomy off. Now, that game was at home, but a team that was bent on winning, as any team that's ever come between the hedges. Any opponent, I don't think, has ever been more bent on trying to win a game than Notre Dame. They played really outstanding football. They wanted to win that game. So I think we need to give that game a little importance when you take into account that Georgia really played excellent in the time when they needed to and had to.
No doubt about it. It's been 35 days since the Buckeyes last appeared on the gridiron. 28 days for the Dogs. Scott Howard, does that extra week provide OSU with any kind of advantage?
I don't think so. I mean, 5 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Both teams have had about the same amount of practice time. I mean, Ohio State probably spent that first week licking their wounds from losing to these guys that they're watching on the screen now as they're playing TCU. But certainly that loss meant a lot to that program, and they don't like to lose that game, obviously, as Georgia can attest in our key rival games. But I don't think the extra week means a hill of beans, to be honest with you. I think both teams will be fully prepared, and hopefully somebody in this game is going to play some defense tonight, though. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, I can remember years ago when teams played poorly in a bowl game, and everybody would say, well, it just didn't get their timing back. And I remember Bear Bryant went through a period where he couldn't win a bowl game. And Bo Schembechler had the same kind of challenge. So I think those are just happenstance. But in more recent years, because of kids wanting to make a choice to get into the draft, I think the games have been pretty good. But I think there's an incentive. Kirby is driven, and he's been talking to the players constantly about what they can accomplish. Winning the next 2 games means so much to Georgia's program historically. Just a great beacon in the desert almost. Just a wonderful opportunity to establish something that we've never accomplished before.
C.J. Stroud, a 4-star recruit, big high school outside of L.A., anointed heir to royal lineage, including Troy Smith, Braxton Miller, J.T. Barrett, Dwayne Haskins, all top quarterbacks in Ohio State 21st century lore. Stetson Bennett, the paragon of an underdog story from tiny Blackshear, Georgia, grappled his way to the top, outlasting all comers. He's achieved Bulldogs immortality. 2 distinct roads in the wood, tonight converging, Shock. Z?
Yeah, converging indeed. You really can't find 2 dramatically different paths to get to the same spot, and that same spot is both these quarterbacks are at the pinnacle of the game. They're 2 of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in all of college football right now. Couldn't have got here more differently. The grit, the passion, the stick-to-itiveness of a Stetson Bennett to just continue to push and force his way into the starting job, and now he sits atop. Right, forget the Heisman, forget all those awards. He sits atop all of college football right now because he's the reigning champion. And you've got C.J. Stroud that has been able to come in highly recruited and then maintain his discipline and his fight to continue to get better. One thing that really pops off the page for me with both of these guys is the improvement that you see in their play. Not just year over year, but even as we've gone through the season, both these quarterbacks can make every throw. They're in command of their offense. They are the clear leaders of their offense. The road to get here, definitely much different for both of them. But where they've converged is on the top of college football, and all eyes, whenever we start this football game, will be on those 2 young men tonight.
All right, great work, men. Thank you very much. Scott and Kirby Smart in 2 minutes. An exclusive Inside Skinny tonight's CFP semifinal. It begins 10 minutes later than expected. 8:20 kickoff tonight from the Dome. That puts us 60 minutes, 23 seconds from mark from the game on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's game day for the Dogs.
We got him again. He went down on the 35. Javon Bullard.
Let's rejoin the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Back here on the Bulldogs Tailgate Show, this segment is brought to you by Visit Lake Oconee. Coach Kirby Smart is here as the Bulldogs and Ohio State are getting ready for the Peach Bowl and the playoffs coming up. And Coach, you talked before about managing your time is so extremely important in this kind of a situation. How have you been able to do that since winning the SEC championship 4 weeks ago until this point in time?
Well, the first thing we did is give the players a little time off. You know, they had 3 or 4 days after the game in which the focus and attention was on recruiting for us and also figuring out how we could get better defensively, offensively, on special teams. So the players had final exams, took a little time off. We conditioned them, and they ran and they lifted. And then we got back to work, and it's been a long time now. It seems like that was forever ago, but 28 days is quite a long time ago.
How many days of actual practice did you have in this period?
Usually around 12 to 15, 4 or 5 of those, which are camp type practices, fundamental practices, much like an off week. And then we have 2 game weeks, so that would be 4 and 4. You know, a Monday through Thursday twice, so that's 8. So, you know, anywhere from 15 to 16 of them.
You've been here in Atlanta all of this week, about the last 5 or 6 days. What have your workouts been like here in Mercedes-Benz?
Been good. Our guys have been attentive. I think the first day it was kind of weird, having a practice in there. It's different when you play in there than when you have a game in there, and you have to go practice, and there's all these lights and sounds and things going on around, a lot of distractions. And so your young players spend more time looking around than they do actually practicing. But as we practiced in there, it got better, and you kind of get accustomed to it.
Is limiting the distractions, is that a big part of having success in this type of an event as well?
Yeah, I think the team that handles that best is at a competitive advantage. I mean, the distractions for this game are limitless because nothing's like a traditional, game. You're not in school. It's not on a campus. There's a lot of hoopla. There's media days. There's bowl events. It's just very different.
Have you been able to enjoy some time as well, the team during the week?
Yeah, the guys have done a few fun things. I think it's good to occupy their time. They're cooped up in a hotel, so you want to get to go somewhere and do something. But as coaches, it's been a regular work week.
Tell me about your team since the SEC championship. What have you seen from your guys in the workouts and their focus and attitude and all of that?
They've been great. They've had good leadership, competitive attitude. They know that it's a big game. They know it's a really good team. Will probably be the most talented team we've played. And when you look across the board, they know we got to be at our best when our best is needed.
How about health-wise? How do you look there compared to the SEC championship?
Hopefully, we're going to have everybody ready. We got a few guys dinged up, but guys have worked really hard to get back. We haven't had many injuries during this practice sessions, which we've been very fortunate.
Are there any concerns that you have about your team?
Yeah, I think you always worry about this layoff, right? How are we going to respond conditioning-wise, tempo? We fully expect them to copy a lot of the things LSU did in terms of tempo and going fast, and we got to be able to handle that.
In the Michigan game, they gave up a lot of gash plays for scoring plays. What did you see there that you can take advantage of?
Well, early in the game, they played really well defensively, and they had a few plays where Michigan converted fourth downs and sustained drives. But the game really got more out of hand when Ohio State started playing a different way. They played to get the ball back. And so in some ways it reminds me of our Alabama game in the SEC championship last year, where you start playing in a way that you have to play to have a chance to win, and it costs you if they make some plays. Where if the game had been tighter, it probably wouldn't have been that way.
As always, appreciate your time. Thanks very much, and good luck in this one. And let's hope we can play one more game after this.
That's the goal. Thanks.
All right, that's Coach Kirby Smart. This segment brought to you by Visit Lake Oconee. Visit Lake Oconee, Atlanta's lakeside destination, 75 miles away. Hondo, we'll send it back to you for more of the Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
All right, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Coach. In school history, there have been 4 teams that have won at least 13 games in a season. In 2002, we went 13-1 under Coach Mark Richt. The other 3 have all come under Kirby Smart. 13-2 in 2017, 14-1 last year, 13-0 so far in 2022. We shoot for victory number 14 and a berth in the national championship final. That's coming up in 53 minutes for kickoff. Stay with us. DJ Shockley and a special guest from the field at MBS in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got to sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
McConkey in motion left. In the shotgun, Bennett takes the snap, throws it over the middle. Big O touchdown! Simple as that. He just squeezed that ball with those 2 massive hands right in front of the uprights.
Top-ranked Georgia, number 4 Ohio State. Players limbering up below us here at the Benz. Most of them probably getting taped right now, going over last-minute plans with their position coaches. Down alongside the players who are on the field on the Scana sideline is our DJ Shockley with a guest. Shock.
Appreciate it, Hondo. Yeah, I got my man Ben Watson here. He's usually in the role of analyst with SEC Network, but today he gets the chance to represent the Dogs. Ben, first off, man, how does it feel to see your alma mater again in this type of ball game with a chance to go play in a natty?
It always feels good. So it always feels good to see the Dogs in person and have an opportunity to make it to the CFB for another year in a row. an opportunity to play for a national championship. That's all you want. That's all you can ask for. And honestly, this team, if you would have told us back in the Oregon game that they would be here, some of us would have believed. We knew there was a chance, but we didn't know how good they were going to be. And honestly, I don't think they played their best game.
All right, take me through, obviously, as you're a tight end. So we got to ask you about how dominant our tight end's been. From your perspective, what do you like most about what we do with our tight ends, first off, but just their ability, period?
I just saw Todd Monken early, and I was like, thank you. And he didn't know, he probably didn't know exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, thank you for our offense. Thank you for his expertise and everything he pours into it. But thank you for getting the tight end the ball. And the way he does it, I mean, these guys line up everywhere. Honestly, they're at X, they're at Y, they line up at the Z, they run reverses. The only thing I haven't seen a tight end do yet, we might see it at some point, is throw a touchdown pass. Because I think they can do it. But I said this earlier, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I really mean it. If I was here, I might be transferring, bro, because these dudes are amazing.
No doubt. All right, give me your key. I might ask you to put the analyst hat back on. What's the key for the dog tonight? Put it on. Put it on. What we got to do tonight to get the dub?
All right, it's a couple things. Number one, be physical. You hear that term a lot, but what we've done the last several years and what Coach Smart has done with this team is make a physical presence. Like, we want to come into a game and play bully ball. Yeah. That's offense, that's defense, O-line, D-line, that's the running game, that's the DBs getting in receivers' face. That's a mentality, and that pays dividends in the fourth quarter. The next thing being passing efficiency. We got to complete passes. I believe, you look at the O and the D, but our offense against Ohio State's defense, I think we can make great strides. There are a lot of holes there I think we can exploit, especially in the running game. And when Stetson Bennett is accurate, when he's passing it, he doesn't lose games. No doubt. And also, don't turn the ball over.
Said it right there. I know we got my man taking it off. We love it. We got my man Ben Wild Dog. Appreciate you, man. Go Dogs.
Hey, man, go Dogs.
All right.
I know better you.
Shock, thanks so much. Tell Ben I said, hey, okay. I've always loved him as a player and had some pretty good years with the Patriots, too, if I remember correctly. Ben Watson. All right. Thank you so much, DJ and to Ben. It's a meeting between the second winningest football program and the 11th winningest. Georgia and Ohio State for only the second time ever. More from Atlanta and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl coming up. We're 46.5 minutes from kickoff for the CFP semifinal. Meanwhile, in the other game, TCU has kicked a field goal. Third-ranked Horned Frogs now 51-38 over Michigan with 8 minutes to play. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Counting you down to kickoff.
Bowers breaking away midfield. Bowers will take it to the house all the way.
You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Snaps back to Stetson. Looks left, throws it for the corner. Milton, and touchdown. Yeah, touchdown. One-on-one coverage right in front of the pylon. That's A.D. Mitchell.
Back in Atlanta and MBS, where 4 months ago we kicked off this so far perfect season with a throttling of then 11th ranked Oregon. That touchdown from Stetson to AD, one of the scores in that 49-3 victory for Georgia. Tonight our Dogs return to the Benz for the third time this season and the 9th time since this building opened in 2017. We have beaten Auburn, Cincinnati, LSU, and Oregon here. We are 4-4 all time at MBS. Today, top-ranked undefeated Georgia takes on once-beaten 4th-ranked Ohio State. The winner gets a trip to L.A. to take on either TCU or Michigan a week from Monday, in the national championship game. The Bulldogs, 35-21-3 all-time in bowls. This is our 60th bowl appearance. That marks second all-time for number of bowl appearances. Our 35 victories ranks second all-time of all college football programs. Yeah, it was Mark Richt who really turned the tide for the Dogs. His teams, they won 10 of his 15 bowl appearances. Kirby Smart has kept the momentum rolling with 6 victories in 8 tries. Ohio State, meanwhile, has played in 53 bowl games, sporting a record of 26-27. Under Ryan Day, the Buckeyes are 2-2 in the postseason, including 1-2 in CFP contests. One final note for you, Stetson Bennett. In 2 games here at the Benz this season, he's completed 48 of 60 pass attempts. That's 80%. 642 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks during wins over number 11 Oregon and number 14 LSU. We're going to wrap things up here from our Bulldog Tailgate Show. Thanks so much for tuning in today. The Ford Drive to Kickoff with Scott Howard, Eric Zier, and DJ Shockley is next. Our studio producer is Luke Nadkarni, and our stadium engineer is Adam Gillespie. Chris Schiavone assisting. For Scott, Eric, DJ, and Lauren Smith, this is Neil Hondo Williamson. It's the CFP semifinal from Atlanta. Number 1 undefeated Georgia versus 11-1 fourth-ranked Ohio State. Only the second time in our esteemed program's histories. I'll talk to you again at halftime. This is the Bulldog Sports Network.